Vulcanized bees are an aggressive species of honeybees. When provoked, they are known to attack humans and animals with deadly consequences. If you see a hive, do not disturb it, as this will result in the bees launching an attack. Loud noise will agitate the bees. If you accidentally discover yourself in close proximity to a hive, do not shout or use noisy machinery. Keep barking dogs away. Do not attempt to dislodge or destroy the bees. Contact a professional or GLDA for help on telephone number 220-655627. If the hive is disturbed, do not hesitate. Run away in a straight line as fast as possible and seek shelter. As you run away, do not flail your arms around or scream loudly. Pull your shirt or jersey up over your ears, nose, and mouth. Shield your eyes with your fingers. Never jump into a trench or other body of water after escaping the bees. Use an ATM card or other similar edged object to scrape any stingers off. Do not attempt to pinch them off with your fingers, as this will just pump more venom into your body. After the stingers are out, wash affected area with soap and water. A message from the Guyana Livestock Development Authority, Ministry of Agriculture. The Ministry of Agriculture is warning members of the public that it is illegal to dump garbage of any kind near to or into drainage and irrigation waterways across the country. The NDIA, the agency tasked with the maintenance of drainage and irrigation in Guyana, has noted that there is an alarming increase in the incidence of garbage getting into DNI waterways and causing blockages in the first instance. But worse than that, the garbage that includes clothing, rotting carcasses, pieces of wood and metal gets past protective grills of the critical mobile and fixed pumps, resulting in damage to the pumps, which have to be taken out of service for repairs, placing communities at risk, especially during the rainy season. The Ministry of Agriculture notes that when this happens, millions have to be spent on repairs to the pumps and on clearing the canals of debris thrown there by irresponsible citizens. The ministry warns that rangers of the NDIA will be on the lookout for those engaging in this illegal practice. Persons caught will be made to face the full force of the law. A message from the NDIA Ministry of Agriculture. Over the last 10 years, seed treatment has been proven to be very effective in protecting rice plants from damage by early season pests, such as water weevils, leaf miners, and caterpillars. This protection can last for up to 30 days. In so doing, it allows for better establishment of the rice plants and later no bare spots in the field. Seed treatment also negates the need for using harmful pesticides during the first 30 days of the crop and therefore allows the buildup of beneficial insects such as the ladybird beetle, damselflies, dragonflies, and spiders, which will later prove useful against paddy bugs at every stage of their life cycle. Seed treatment involves the application of piperonyl at 20% soluble concentrate in a spray can to germinated seed. The mix is 1 liter of piperonyl to 2.5 gallons of water to treat 10 120-pound bags of paddy. This can be done manually as seen here. The seed is spread on a level surface and the chemical applied using a spray can. It is then turned and sprayed a few times until the farmer is satisfied that he has achieved complete wetting of his seed paddy. Treated seed paddy is then covered and allowed to be incubated or pressed for the normal 36 to 48 hours. Then it is ready for sowing. It should be noted that in treating the seed, farmers applying the pesticide should wear the appropriate protective gear as seen here to protect against the harmful effects of the chemical on the skin or if inhaled.
From 2010, since I start my seed treatment, that's when I started and I've continued. I've never stopped because I've seen the benefit of seed treatment. And I've seen increased yield, I've seen production better because it actually gives you 35 to 40 days that you don't have to go back into the field and do any kind of a pesticide control because that actually helps you. So farmers, I'm advising you and I'm giving you that advice because I've been doing this since 2010 and I'd like to see farmers benefit also from these 6 points.
Seed treatment is a critical step in the realization of higher yield. If you have not yet adopted this practice, try it this crop. A message from the GRDB, Ministry of Agriculture. It has been a hectic month for agriculture so far as the Ministry of Agriculture celebrates Agriculture Month 2022 with a wide range of events taking place all across the country. This week began with the hosting of this year's World Food Day, an annual event of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, at the Albion Community Center ground. During that event, remarks were delivered, shedding light on the launch of the Caribbean's Small Island Developing States, SIDS, multi-country soil management initiative for integrated landscape restoration and climate-resilient food systems. Speaking on this important initiative, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa, who delivered the feature address, said that the project is important to all of Guyana as soil management is critical to sustainable agriculture.
Soil and water are essential to our food system. It is estimated that 95% of our food is directly or indirectly produced on our soil. Therefore, healthy soil are the foundation of what I have outlined earlier. Therefore, I am happy to include this project launch with our World Food Day program and celebration here today. I noted that many benefits of the projects and commit the National Agriculture Research and Extension Institute of the Ministry of Agriculture as a key implementing partner of this soil care project. I want to thank the FAO, the Guyana Lands and Surveys Commission, and the Partnership Initiative for Sustainable Management for working with us on this important initiative. The importance of soil is linked with appropriately managing the soil and aid policymakers in arriving at developmental decisions. Over the years, we have seen increasing demand for user-friendly soil information. However, over the last 7 years, NARI has been only able to digitalize 38% of the soil map. This project will provide an open access national soil information system. It will expedite the digitalization of the remaining 101 soil maps and at the same time enhance technical skills on the soil laboratory. All of these is in keeping with our President's long-term vision of a modernized and diversified Guyana. This is one of those short-term successes that builds the foundation of that vision our President outlined last Friday.
Speaking on the initiative earlier in the program was Commissioner and CEO of the Lands and Surveys Commission, Mr. Enrique Moniz.
It is symbolic that we have chosen this date to inaugurate a significant land management project in Guyana and the region. That is the Caribbean Small Island Development States Soil Care Phase 1 project, which is funded by the Global Environmental Facility with the FAO as an implementing agency. The project will allow Caribbean countries to use soil data to make informed decisions and contribute to regional and global soil and climate knowledge systems. It will target land and soil degraded areas in some Caribbean countries, including Guyana, allow for land productivity to be restored through climate-smart agriculture, and non-farms on selected landscapes. It will cater for adapted land use through production systems and create alternative livelihood options to be implemented with innovative technology and private sector support. The background to this project is tied to some of our commitments to certain UN conventions. In 1997, Guyana became a party to the UNCCD, that is the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification. And the Guyana Lands and Surveys Commission has been the national focal point agency for UNCCD since 2003, hence our involvement in this project. Guyana, like its sister CARICOM countries, which are collaborating to implement this multi-country project, are effective country parties of the UNCCD. We therefore recognize the successful efforts made in conceptualizing and actualizing this project, which will lead towards fulfillment of our obligations under Articles 4 and 5 of the Convention. Guyana remains committed to honoring our Convention obligation. One such demonstration of this was through our pioneering role in the Caribbean through voluntary setting and endorsement at the highest level of land degradation neutrality, LDN, targets and measures in 2017. As you know, Sustainable Development Goal SDG 15, Life on Land, is seeking to protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystem, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, and halt and reverse land degradation, and halt biodiversity loss. Correspondingly, SDG Target 15.3 aims by 2030 to combat desertification, restore degraded land and soil, including land affected by desertification, drought, and floods, and to strive to achieve a land degradation neutral world. The LDN concept has been championed by the UNCCD and has become a strong vehicle to drive implementation of the convention.
Other speakers at the World Food Day launch were Mr. Wilmot Garnett of the International Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, ICA, Dr. Gillian Smith of the FAO, and CARICOM's Program Manager, Agricultural and Agro-Industrial Development, Mr. Sean Ball.
I think we're living in exciting times, really exciting times. Our regional leaders under the chairman of the chairmanship of Diana are motivated, serious, coordinated. The effort is now. Our 25 by 25 initiative has been a game changer, not only in the region, but in the hemisphere and globally. Everywhere that we go, there's the buzz going around that the Caribbean, CARICOM, led by the chairmanship of Diana, is serious about food and nutrition security. We're seeing movement. The need has moved. And let nobody tell you anything else. The need has moved. The type of dedication that I'm seeing, the coordination, the results that we've had before, and I know the minister will speak to it before, is really, really game-changing. And I think if we continue along this path, it will fit very direct in what the theme for today is. Leave no one behind. And that's a very important thing, because there's one thing everybody must do in this world, and that's eat. Everybody must eat. So on today's World Food Day, I bring greetings from the CARICOM Secretary on behalf of the Secretary General, Mr. Dr. Carla. And I just want to encourage certainly the people of Diana, and by extension the people of the CARICOM, to continue this journey that we are on. And let's leave no one behind. Thank you all.
Today we celebrate World Food Day, and as we celebrate, we cannot do so without recognizing a year filled with global challenges, but also to focus on opportunities that lie ahead, many opportunities for Guyana, and as Sean mentioned, the region and beyond. Together we face global challenges, such as the lingering effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, the impact of climate change, rising energy costs, conflicts, lack of trust and cooperation among our partners, around business on a whole, an increasing import bill, high debt, which results in high and increasing food prices globally, making it a growing challenge for more than 1/3 of our global population. These challenges are amplified in our region. My Director General, Dr. Manuel Otero, said, and I quote, "Considering this regional position, the confluence of crises require that we channel efforts towards assisting vulnerable populations as well as facilitating intra-regional and international trade in an urgent and sustainable manner. We must provide true partnership that can bolster agricultural trade in Latin America and the Caribbean. This involves joining efforts amongst countries and strengthening the bodies responsible for coordinating sectorial policies, driving collective actions for the benefit of everyone, leaving no one behind. To outweigh these challenges, we must focus on opportunities and competitive advantage. Latin America and the Caribbean is a guarantor of our planet's food and nutritional security, and a pillar for environmental sustainability and biodiversity. Guyana is in an enviable position in the region because it has all the potential, and certainly now, especially with the oil and gas, all the resources needed to be a major partner and act as a counterweight against the global food crisis. Guyana has the land, the water, and the people who know to work the land. Significant investments are being made in the agriculture sector. There is a collective push for the transformation of the sector to self-sufficiency in most crops and animal products. This goal is within reach. ICA remains a committed partner on this strategic, inclusive, participatory, and results-oriented development plan.
The first one is I'd really like to thank the Berbice Expo organizers for hosting World Food Day here today. Thank you very much. We saw, as the organizing committee, along with the Ministry of Agriculture, your very wonderful and pertinent theme for the Berbice Expo. And I think as much as everyone enjoys themselves at the Expo, this is a wonderful opportunity because World Food Day is actually about celebration. So the two things worked very well together. The second thing I'd like to do is to thank the Ministry of Agriculture for all of the arrangements that have been made for the celebration of World Food Day. All over the world, the 193 countries of the UN are celebrating World Food Day between the 14th and about the 18th of October. And in all cases, the country determines what the World Food Day celebration will be, and this is usually led by the Ministry of Agriculture, and the Ministry of Agriculture, as always, has done an excellent job to highlight World Food Day here in Guyana. There are other activities other than this commemoration celebration, but those will be heard more. And I hope that everybody takes the opportunity to go around and look at the World Food Day celebration, the booths that are around the back. They're very exciting. Everywhere around the world, the responsibility of the FAO representative is to read the remarks of the Director General of FAO. And so thank you for your patience. I'm going to just do that for you today and now. These past years have presented us with many complex food security challenges. We have had 3 years of a pandemic on top of economic downturns, conflicts and war, the climate crisis, interrupted international supply chains, increased inequalities and rising food prices, among all others, all confirming how interconnected our economies and our lives are. Rising food prices affect us all, but the impacts are felt most by the vulnerable and by countries already experiencing a food crisis. Today, 3.1 billion people around the world still cannot afford a healthy diet. Hunger continues to rise, and it affected just over 800 million people in 2021, and there's been an increase since 2020 of more than 46 million people added to those sad ranks. Famine and malnutrition are increasingly leading to loss of lives and putting at risk a healthy future for our children. Catastrophic short-term events are developing into protracted crises with overlapping challenges, which over time are leaving an increasing number of people behind. Now, more than ever, we need to harness the power of solidarity and collective action. Our agri-food systems hold great potential for a more equitable and prosperous future, as they are interlinked to many areas of our lives and economy, from agriculture to natural resources, to energy, to health, and many more. Agriculture is among the most cost-effective humanitarian interventions. To honor our pledge to leave no one behind, it is critical that we transform our agri-food systems to be more efficient, more inclusive, more resilient, and more sustainable for better production, better nutrition, better environment, and a better life for all. We need to empower the most vulnerable, including small-scale producers, by investing in global agri-food systems. This means improved access to training, incentives, science, data, technology, and innovation, so that smallholders can be the center of this transformation. We need decent rural employment and services. We need to end child labor while fostering gender equality and supporting rural and indigenous peoples who are the custodians of much of the Earth's biodiversity. At the same time, governments need to provide timely and well-targeted social intervention programs that protect the most fragile. We need to support countries at risk of hunger, malnutrition, and famine, helping them to transform their agri-food systems and funding humanitarian appeals and boosting resistance. Greater priority must be given to increasing local, nutritious food production and preserving natural resources. The FAO strategic framework prioritizes this transformation across all of our work, and it supports the 2030 Agenda and the Sustainable Development Goals. In 2021, the United Nations Food Systems and other multilateral initiatives have initiated dialogues and pathways, putting food systems transformation high on the global agenda. FAO continues to support the implementation of national pathways, such as here in Guyana, for transformation by hosting the UN Summit follow-up. Let this World Food Day be a kind reminder of the need to accelerate efforts and strive for a future where no one is left behind. And let us, everyone, ensure that we all and everyone has access to healthy and affordable food.
In other activities in agriculture this past week, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa joined Vice President Bart Jagdeo for the rollout of the 150,000 cash grant to fisherfolk of Anna Regina in Region 2. Some 706 fisherfolk received the grants totaling $106 million. And a new board of directors was announced for the Guyana Sugar Corporation after Cabinet's no objection to their appointment. The new board met with the Agriculture Minister, who in brief remarks stressed that direct contact between the board of directors and estate managers must be established. He said the revitalization and modernization of Guyana's sugar industry remains of utmost importance to the government and people of Guyana. While reminding them of the difficulties faced when the estates were closed by the previous administration, Minister Mustafa said that the government remains steadfast in its efforts to restore the sector, and in this regard, it is the role of the board to implement the policies of the government as it relates to the development of the industry. Local representative of the International Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, ICA, Mr. Wilmot Garnett, presented to Minister Mustafa this past week the final report of the rapid assessment of cocoa and coffee cultivation in Guyana. This is a joint collaboration between the Ministry of Agriculture, ICA, and CATI. The recommendations presented by the two organizations will be implemented with immediate effect. And the Ministry of Agriculture hosted its interagency cook-off in the compound of the Ministry of Agriculture Wednesday. The event saw the agencies of the ministry cooking up a variety of local dishes, which followed specific themes, all utilizing local meats and seasonings. There were lots of curries, cook-ups and stews, dal and dal puri, sweet meats, etc. There were even judges there tasting the food on offer by the various agencies with a view to declaring a winning presentation. Finally, on this week's edition of This Week in Agriculture, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa met with Panamanian Consular Minister for Agriculture Affairs Carlos Augusto Salcido Zaldivar on the sidelines of the 2022 Normal Ebola International Dialogue held in Iowa this past week. During their bilateral engagement, the two officials discussed a number of issues related to the agriculture sector of both countries, such as their government's food security policies and efforts, the rising cost of agricultural inputs globally, technological advances, and women and youth participation in agriculture. And at another engagement, this time during an address to the forum, Minister Mustafa called for a global response to the current hunger and climate crisis. He said that as a grouping, we are not separate regions or countries, but a human family. Minister Mustafa shared with participants details of Guyana's efforts to consolidate, diversify, expand, and produce more food, while at the same time building resilience.
Africanized bees are an aggressive species of honeybees. When provoked, they are known to attack humans and animals with deadly consequences. If you see a hive, do not disturb it, as this will result in the bees launching an attack. Loud noise will agitate the bees. If you accidentally discover yourself in close proximity to a hive, do not shout or use noisy machinery. Keep barking dogs away. Do not attempt to dislodge or destroy the bees. Contact a professional or GLDA for help on telephone number 220-6556-27. If the hive is disturbed, do not hesitate. Run away in a straight line as fast as possible and seek shelter. As you run away, do not flail your arms around or scream loudly. Pull your shirt or jersey up over your ears, nose, and mouth. Shield your eyes with your fingers. Never jump into a trench or other body of water after escaping the bees. Use an ATM card or other similar edged object to scrape any stingers off. Do not attempt to pinch them off with your fingers, as this will just pump more venom into your body. After the stingers are out, wash affected area with soap and water. A message from the Guyana Livestock Development Authority, Ministry of Agriculture.
This has been another edition of This Week in Agriculture, a presentation of the Communications Unit, Ministry of Agriculture. We certainly hope you have enjoyed your weekend and that you're all set for the challenges of this brand new week. This Week in Agriculture is produced for television by Matrix Video Productions and Advertising, based in East Berbice. I am your producer and host, Christopher Holder. Urging that you have a productive but enjoyable week ahead. Just remember to at all times be good to yourselves and to each other.